Why, hello there. I wanted to get on just to let you know a little bit about the series that this is a part of and also stuff that's happening with me. So I've actually changed my business name from Inspired to Sing, which I've had for many years, to That Sweet Roar, ROAR. And I'll put a link to the Facebook post explaining a little bit about why that is. But really, I've just outgrown it. And, change is good. Change is fresh. So you can find me at thatsweetroar.com from now on. And this video is part one of a series that I'm doing over on Facebook Live across the next week and a bit about belting, because I get asked so many questions about belting. And so I really wanted to do a series about the things that people misunderstand about belting, things with mindset and technique and how to approach it that are limiting people, so that you can understand it better, so that you can get a better sound and freer sound, because I want you to be able to get up there and belt your face off confidently without losing your voice, without panicking about vocal fatigue or strain or tension. So I hope that you really enjoy the series. I'm going to upload not only this one, but part two, and you'll notice the other ones coming. But if you want to join live, like if you want to watch them as they happen, please join me over on Facebook. I'll leave the link below. Why aren't you there already? I would love to have you as part of my tribe over there as well. So check it out and enjoy this first video. Kia ora, guys. How are you? I'm going to be doing a series of Facebook Lives right here talking all about belting. It's one of my favorite things to teach people. It's one of my favorite things to do as a singer. And I really want you to understand, I want to help you understand the absolute must-haves that you need, the little puzzle pieces that all need to line up in order to belt without strain, without feeling like it's stretchy and difficult, without battling with vocal fatigue, which was something that I struggled with for years when I was doing particularly rock singing and Motown singing, because you need all of the stars to align to get a strong, full, resonant, easy, like effortless belt. So we're going to start with the very first piece of the puzzle, which is this, kiddo, like getting your head straight, because you need to get comfortable taking up a lot of space with your voice. Now, I'm mostly talking to those of you who would consider yourself shy, or who say things like, oh, I'm not a yeller, or you consider yourself an introvert, or you think that you don't have a strong voice. Those sort of things, that being loud actually makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I always have a little bit of a giggle when my students who are in this group of people, they would, have some of these feelings, some of these thoughts about themselves, first belt, like when they first do this huge, rich, powerful sound and it comes out of their mouths, they almost startle themselves. Like they scare themselves because they're not sure where it came from. They're like, that wasn't me. That wasn't my voice. I can't do that. So it's almost like they have this out of body experience because there's this huge sound and they never thought that they could produce that. So it always makes me laugh a little bit. I'm like, yeah, that was you. This is exactly what you're capable of. So part of this is that you might need to get a different practice space. So a lot of singers reach out to me and they're like, I'm really worried that I'm straining my voice, and I think part of it is because I'm worried that my neighbors are going to hear me. And that is legit. You cannot practice belting when you are trying to keep the volume down, when you're like, I don't want anyone to hear me, or I'm embarrassed that somebody is going to hear me practicing, or I'm worried that somebody is going to like thump on my door and be like, shut up. You cannot practice belting in that space. You need to have a space that you feel like you can unleash. Otherwise, you are going to be choking that sound. And I'm going to talk about that in the next live that I do, which is really about the breath and how we need to utilize the breath for belting. But you can't be like holding your voice in when you're trying to project your voice out. You can't hold back and unleash, right? So you need to know that it will be loud. It will be intense. It will make you feel powerful in a way that might actually feel uncomfortable. And it might feel out of control and scary. So these are things that students have told me. Like when it happens, when they get it right, they're like, whoa, this feels out of control. I want to be able to take that back. I want to be able to kind of wade gently into this. No. That is not what belting is about. Belting requires you to go all in and all in from the get-go. So you can't hesitate. You can't half sing the starting note just to make sure that you're on the right one. You can't dip your toe in the water to check the temperature, right? You have to jump all in. Hi, Sam. Hi, Kimberly. So nice to have you on live. Cool. So as I said, you need to wrap your head around yourself taking up that much space. So it might require that you find a different space to practice in. You can practice other forms of singing where you are actually able to keep a lid on the volume or able to keep a lid on the intensity and doing, sweeter things. That's totally fine to do when you're conscious of other people. Belting is not. It is a no-go zone. You need to be able to just unleash without worrying about if somebody is going to hear you or what they're going to think of you or if they're going to judge you. So if you don't have that space and you want to be able to belt, please go and find yourself that space or ace where you can do that. Or you need to really look at why you feel uncomfortable taking up space, why you feel uncomfortable being a big presence. And like everything with singing, with the voice, it's probably something that crops up as a theme in different areas of your life. So you might say things or think things, I don't want to be too loud. I don't want to be too outspoken or too opinionated. I don't want to seem too out there or too arrogant or like I'm an attention seeker. So all these things actually make it very difficult for you to create that sound because you've already labeled being loud and being intense and taking up space with your voice in the back of your mind as a bad thing, as a negative thing. You might have thoughts or feelings about like wanting to fit in with what other people are doing, so not wanting to say, oh, that doesn't work for me, right? So perhaps people pleasing. All of these things might just be weaving their way into how you show up for your voice. So those would be the two things that I would ask for you to just question in terms of getting your head straight to be able to then start to work on belting. So the next parts of the series are going to be much more technique focused, but it has to start here. If you are uncomfortable, if you are hesitant, if you are scared of making a big noise, if you are scared of being heard, there's no way, no amount of what I teach about technique can save that. You need to be willing and you need to kind of take a bit of a risk in terms of going all in from the get-go and not, there's no safety net with belting at all. And I find that exhilarating now, but I understand why people would find it terrifying. And that's, I think, why we love hearing other people do it, is it's got so much excitement and so much power and so much emotion, but it requires you showing up. It requires you showing up in a really vulnerable and kind of exposing way. So those two things, make sure that you've got the space and make sure that you really unpack what your thoughts and feelings are around being a bigger presence in the world, showing more of yourself, taking up more space. So let me know below if this is ringing any bells for you, and I hope to see you on other parts of this little Get Your Belt On series that I'll be doing here. Have a great day.